quick video about progressive overload, or quick note about progressive overload, right? So yesterday I made an entire guide on progressive overload. Like I spoke about everything you need to know about progressive overload, like how to do it, all the ins and outs, all the outs and ins, like everything. And I think it's my best video on the channel, and I think it's like the video where I provide the most value in. So I highly recommend you check that out. And you kind of got to know that video for you to understand what I say here. But even if you haven't watched that video, what I'm going to say here is still relevant, right? So when it comes to progressive overload, we as lifters may sometimes get an emotional attachment to the logbook. And that's actually quite a common phrase you will hear people say all the time. Emotional attachment to the logbook. What that means is we get so attached and so fixated on beating our numbers that if we don't beat our numbers, we kind of feel down and depressed. And I actually gave an example and I spoke about this in detail in my full guide. So like, I think you'd be doing yourself a disservice if you don't check this out, especially after watching this video. So I talk more about that in there, right? But the part I want to focus on today specifically is the sort of the importance of training to failure and how training to failure is kind of more important than beating the logbook. And I know that kind of came out of nowhere, like I just spun fucking training to failure on you out of nowhere, like I didn't even mention it in the intro at all, but let me land in it, let me land. So cool, this is what I'm trying to say, right? So when it comes to beating the logbook, we are so focused on getting more reps than last week that sometimes we forget when it comes to hypertrophy and building muscle, that whether we get more reps than last week doesn't matter as much as going to failure. Sometimes we forget that training to failure is like the most important thing for building muscle. It is the most important thing for generating a good stimulus that will build us muscle. And so I think training to failure is better than beating the logbook. And here's what I mean, right? So let's say, this is an example now. Let's say last week you managed to get 9 reps with a certain weight. Let's say you come in this week and you aim for 10 reps, but for whatever reason, you don't get the 10th, and instead you get 9 reps again. You might think, oh shit, my battery's about to die. No, don't do that. Stay alive while I plug you in. Stay alive, please, please, please. All right, plug that bitch in. All right, we're good. So you might think that because you've matched the reps, that you didn't make hypertrophy gains, that you didn't build muscle, or even worse, that maybe you done something wrong. Well, I'm here to tell you in this video that even though you matched the reps, provided you still went to failure, provided training intensity was high and effort was high, and you got those last 5, effective reps, you still made gains. And so this circles back to the first point I made of how when it comes to building muscle, training to failure is like the most important thing. Not like the most important thing. Training to failure is the most important thing. We must train to failure. We must get those slow, grindy, tough reps in which the bar speed slows down and in which we induce a lot of mechanical tension being when our muscles produce a lot of force. And when our muscles produce a lot of force, that is when we typically do the slow reps. So, bro, we need mechanical tension. We need those last 5 reps to failure, those really slow and grindy ones. That's what we need. And that's what's going to build us muscle. And I think that trumps beating the logbook. Now, that's not to say that the logbook is completely irrelevant and that we should never track our lifts and that we should never try get more reps and instead we should just go in and just gym bro meathead our way around, or as the phrase goes, horse cock way around. That's the phrase in the bodybuilder world. I'm not suggesting we do that. I 100% see the importance of a logbook, and I see why we need to be able to beat our numbers. Hence why I made a whole video on how to do it. Like, this is how you beat your numbers and this is how to progressive overload. But occasionally, on an odd session here and there, you won't beat your numbers or you won't be able to add more weight. And so you might think that's a failed session. But I'm here to tell you that even though you don't beat your numbers or add more weight, as long as that particular set you done was still hard and still to failure, you still made gains. Because never forget, bro, training to failure is the most important thing for building muscle. And so despite the fact you didn't get 1 extra rep from last week, if that set you done today was the same amount of reps, but it was still to failure and you still trained as hard with as much intensity, you are good. You are doing everything right. This is how you build muscle. This is how you get fucking jacked. So never forget my brothers and my sisters. Sisters? No, what girls watch my channel? Yeah? If you're a girl watching my channel, comment, yeah? Let me know, because that'd be quite cool to know. But yeah, never forget my brothers. Training to failure is more important than beating the logbook. You won't beat the logbook every single time, but you can go to failure every single time. And a quick note on that, I don't actually mean go to failure, I just mean go close to failure. That's what I should say, you know. Train in a proximity to failure. I'm not suggesting whether you should go to actual failure every single time. That's a discussion for another video. You know, should you go to actual failure every single time, or 1 rep in reserve, or 2? That's for another video. But when I say failure, I just mean close to failure, right? With a high intensity, with a high effort. That's what I'm saying, right? And so what I'm telling you lot is, the quick note on progressive overload in this video is, training to failure is more important than beating the logbook. And if for whatever reason you don't beat the logbook, but you still went to failure, that's still a win of a session. You still made gains. You are good, my brother. You won't be able to add reps every single week or add weight every single week. And even if you regress, like let's say you have 2-3 weeks hiatus in which gym and training and recovery was complete garbage, and then eventually when you get back into the gym, you're lifting 10 kilos less on all your lifts and you're getting less reps, but those lifts in which you're lifting 10 kilos less, you're still taking those exercises to failure with a higher intensity and high effort, you're good, bro. I know when you look at the logbook on paper, you know, 3 weeks ago you were lifting 100 kilos and now 3 weeks later you're lifting 90 kilos and all that time in between you spent partying and going on holiday and your recovery was shit. I know, bro, I know. The logbook, it doesn't look nice when it looks like that. And you look at the data and the numbers, I think like, fuck, bro, like I'm not doing things right, I'm going backwards. I'm here to tell you, as long as you train close to failure, as long as intensity is there, you're always doing the right thing and you will always build muscle. Regardless of what the logbook says. So yeah, look, this is not me, let me clarify again, saying that logbook is not important, that tracking your lifts is useless and that we should just go to failure and horse cock weight around every single time. No. Tracking your lifts is damn fucking important. I made an entire video on how to track your lifts. Like, this is generally the most valuable video on my channel. I highly recommend you check it out. Or if you don't want to watch that video for whatever reason and you'd rather speak to me directly and allow me to help you build your dream physique, then just click the first link in the description to fill out a quick form. I'll get in contact with you and then we can hop on a call completely free. I'm not asking for your credit card details. I'm not going to charge you or anything. Like, let us just connect. Let me help you build your dream physique and get in shape for summer and make the transformation that I made with my training knowledge, training systems, and everything in between. So click the link in the description down below. Let me know what you thought of this video and I shall catch you in the next one. Love, my bro. You are the man.